The average interest rate in February was 6.36%. The Silicon Valley Bank collapsed. The median home price is up 2.3% from last month in Orlando. The average time a home was on the market was 2.48 months in February, down from January's 3.65 months. The Orlando Regional Realtor Association president said the Orlando housing market continues to look positive as we look ahead to a strong spring selling season. In this March 2023 Orlando Real Estate Market update, I'll talk about the current interest rate, housing prices, inventory, what the second quarter could look like for buyers and sellers, and if it makes sense for you to buy or sell right now. In February, the Federal Reserve said that they didn't see the interest rates going down and to plan on 2 more rate increases for the year, and that the next possible rate hike would be coming next month, meaning this month in March. And so the rumor was that there would be an increase of 0.5%, but now because of the Silicon Valley Bank collapse, and obviously some other things going on in the economy, the rumors are that it could be maybe 0.25%, or maybe it won't go up at all. Now, I think a question that a lot of people have right now is, okay, with the Silicon Valley Bank collapse, and I think there was like 2 other banks that also filed for bankruptcy, what does that look like? How is that going to affect the interest rates? And so right now we're seeing the mortgage applications are actually on the rise. After everything went down with the bank collapse, I think it's possible that the interest rates could go down to encourage buyers to get out on the market and buy a home with a mortgage. And now, what would be the long-term effects on the housing market with the Silicon Valley Bank collapse? Now, obviously, we're going into the crystal ball at that point. We don't really know. I think right now it's just going to be like it's an event. It's kind of a blip in the market. It's something that happened. Now, it could be a glimpse into the future if more banks file for bankruptcy. Then there could be a real economic downslide, and that could really affect the mortgage rates going down quite a bit, because I'm guessing that most people wouldn't be able to buy a home at that point, especially at like 6 or 7% interest rate for mortgages. My best guess, though, is this is probably just temporary. I'm guessing that the interest rates will still float around 6 or 7% for the rest of the year, and probably going into 2024 as well, but we'll just have to see. The home prices are maintaining. So the median home price was $358,000 in February, and that was up from $350,000 in January. The average home price was $438,375 in February, up from $425,407 in January. And the difference between the median and average price is this. So it's basically just going back to like math class, right? So the median home price is just like kind of picking out that middle number, and that's your median home price. The average is taking all homes that have sold, adding it all up, dividing them by how many homes are sold, and then that's how you get your average home price. Typically, people consider the median home price a little bit more accurate, because let's say, there's one home that sells for, $40 million or something like that, and everything else is, $1,500,000, $250,000, stuff like that. That one home price will really affect everything else. So that's why people usually go by the median home price. With home prices, my best guess is that they're probably going to go up in the second quarter with increased buyers coming to the market, because the second quarter is typically when we have the most real estate activity here in Orlando. And I think that's like most places as well. So with more buyers coming to the market, there's going to be more demand. And that's why I'm guessing that home prices will probably go up in the second quarter. A little later in the video, I'll give you a couple tips on how to get under contract if you're a buyer. The amount of time that homes were on the market for went down in February. It was 2.48 months. In January, it was 3.65 months. So that's a pretty significant difference there. And that could be from increased demand that we saw in January, which was probably because the interest rates went down from its peak in October, which was like, in the low 7s. And then I think it went down to like the low 6s in January. So I think you had more people trying to get in before maybe the interest rates went up again. But generally speaking, the market is cooling off compared to a year or two with, the months of inventory was like less than a month. So we are seeing an increase, which is a good sign. Hopefully that means that we're not seeing as many like bidding wars and things like that. I will say that I am seeing some bidding wars still, but nothing like we saw, a year or two ago. Now, in the second quarter, I'm expecting that the time a home is on the market will probably stay around 2.5 months. Might go down a little less maybe in June, which is probably going to be like the most active month that we're going to see this year. But we'll just have to see what happens. What do you think will happen in Orlando real estate in the second quarter? Let us know in the comments. And when you're there, if you could like the video and consider subscribing if you haven't already, I'd really appreciate it. It does help the channel, or at least that's what I'm told. If you are a subscriber, I really appreciate the support. If we haven't met yet, my name's Dan Ganator. I'm a real estate agent in Orlando, Florida. If you have any questions or need an agent or just need anything from me, let me know. My contact information is in the description below. Also in the description is a link for my preferred properties for sale in Orlando. What buyers can expect coming this second quarter is the interest rates will probably fluctuate. So it might be a good idea to lock in the interest rate. If it goes down to an interest rate that you like, you'll want to reach out to your mortgage broker to find out, what all that entails, how much it might be, all that kind of stuff. And I would also recommend to shop around for mortgage brokers or a loan officer because some might be offering some deals. I think because, we really don't know what's going to happen in the second quarter, and this is really important in Orlando real estate for everyone to hit their goal numbers and stuff like that. So I would guess that there will probably be some lenders who are offering deals. So you just might want to shop around a little bit. The inventory will probably go down in the second quarter, especially like mid-June, maybe late June. And it could make it so this is a very competitive spring season. Now, some advice for buyers to go under contract. I would look at homes that have been on the market for a while. And that's, a suggestion that I've had recently. And we're still seeing it work. With homes that have been on the market for a while, you have more room to negotiate. You might even be able to get some closing costs, maybe buy down your rate a little bit. It's a good opportunity for some people. Now, you might want to do that sooner than later, because if the inventory does tighten up, these homes will probably go under contract and it's going to decrease the inventory. So just think about doing that sooner than later. Another suggestion is to look at new construction. There are new construction communities, meaning like national or regional builders, that are offering different deals. I've seen some where you can lock in a lower interest rate with the builder's preferred mortgage company. D.R. Horton is offering 5.5% right now, which is pretty good deal since, interest rates are around, low to mid sixes. It could be a good deal to lock in, and who knows, maybe they'll drop it a little bit lower. It could make sense for a lot of people. For sellers, if the inventory levels decrease, the home prices could increase quite a bit. We could see, potential bidding wars. It could be very similar to what we saw a year ago, maybe on a smaller scale, but still, maybe 10, 15 bids coming in, things like that. So it's still a great time for sellers to sell, especially as demand will increase during the second quarter. If you have to buy after you sell, now that could be challenging with the rising interest rates, because you probably have a lower interest rate currently than you would if you went and got a new mortgage. So that's something to think about. I think if you're a landlord, for instance, and you're looking to maybe kind of get out of it, I think it might be a great time to sell, especially with rising insurance, rising taxes, all that kind of stuff. It might be a good time to just cash out. Is it a good time to buy or sell real estate in Orlando? Now, that is a bit of a personal question that you really have to ask yourself. I can't answer it for you, but I can give you some just general guidelines and ideas of what you could expect. So this second quarter, I think, is going to be super unpredictable. I mean, maybe even more unpredictable than we've already had, especially with the uncertain economy. You really just don't know what's going to happen. I think there are many buyers out there that think it's a bad time to buy because of the interest rates and rising home prices. Now, I don't really see the home prices or interest rates falling significantly outside of some sort of economic issue that we might have. And I think that home prices are going to hold their value. Of course, unless there's a crash or something like that, then who knows what's going to happen. If you're waiting for the prices to go down, it might take a while for that to happen. I have talked to some people that, 2, 3 years ago, they're like, oh, I'm just going to wait for the home prices to go down. And they're just going up and up. And it's possible that it keeps on that trajectory. We'll just have to, kind of see what happens. It might not feel like a great time to buy for a lot of people, but I think for some, it could make sense, especially like if you're a renter. The rental market is still quite unpredictable. Rent's still going up, maybe not as significant as it once was, but it's not going down like a significant amount. So I think it makes sense to lock in your monthly payment by, getting a mortgage, and then you know what to expect, and you're not playing this guessing game like every year or 6 months or whenever you have to renew your lease. I think it's a great time for sellers to sell, especially going into the second quarter. I am guessing that prices will go up. There's going to be bidding wars. I think buyers are going to be looking to get under contract, and they might not negotiate as much as they are currently. It may be similar to the last year or two in some regard. Now, the downside to selling is if you have to buy. Like I mentioned before, the interest rate will probably be higher than what you have now. So it may not make sense to sell if you have to buy. If you want to learn more about the Orlando real estate market, check out this playlist. If you have any questions or need anything, my contact information is in the description below. Thanks for watching.